Hey, happy Saturday. Hope that everyone is doing well today. This is kind of a last minute live stream, which honestly, that's kind of what all of my live streams are. I kind of have a tendency to just up and do these on the fly, just depending on my schedule and what's going on. But anyway, had a lot that has been going on lately. Got a lot that is coming up here pretty soon. Hey, Eldon, how's it going, man? I wanted to schedule this one. A lot of times, just depending on what I have going on, I have to do it at times where it's like middle of the night in Europe or early morning somewhere else. So anyway, I wanted to schedule this one in such a way that maybe we can kind of catch people from all over, unless you are in Australia or New Zealand or something right now. Andreas, how's it going? Yeah, I got some Germany representation going on here. Let's see, it's probably what, like 9 or 10 o'clock in Germany right now. 9 o'clock, I think. North Carolina. All right. Yeah, got a lot of people from all over here. Oh, Matthew Hayden said, pumped to see you. Do you want JD to message you regarding your live streams yesterday? Yeah. And if you recall in the reply, I told you that I just kind of randomly do these. So I'm glad that it worked out. I'm glad that you could jump on and catch a live stream. So anyway, been doing an insane amount of traveling lately and have some more that's kind of on the list. Just got back. Was it maybe a week and a half ago? 2 weeks ago? Yeah, about a week and a half ago. Got back from the Solomon Islands. So I'm going to have a series on Guadalcanal that's coming up. Anyway, I got a few more trips that I have lined out. So I don't know exactly when that Guadalcanal content will be dropping. But anyway, thought I'd maybe start off in case you maybe haven't had a chance to drop in on the channel lately. Maybe kind of show you a few things that, whoops, hitting the wrong button here. Maybe show you a few things that have been going on lately and kind of give you a heads up as to what's been going on. I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so let's get to the YouTube channel. Oh, by the way, while I'm here on the landing page, I noticed that today, Real History, looks like 6 hours ago, dropped a video where Jared is doing some stuff with the son of Eugene Sledge. So yeah, Henry Sledge. I've messaged back and forth with Henry a little bit. Haven't had a chance to talk to him on the phone yet, mainly because I've been gone so much and have had a pretty aggressive schedule here lately between editing and traveling and everything like that. But anyway, really looking forward to that. All right, so let's go to the main channel here. And some of the stuff that we've been running lately, at least on the History Traveler series, has been all about the First World War. And I'm seeing some comments here on the side. Says Vimy Ridge stuff was really good. Family story was tragic. Yeah. So I had a chance earlier this year to back in the summer to do some traveling around France and Belgium. Had some videos that I did. Let me see. Let me go back up here. If we scroll down, yeah, like these videos right here, where we went to a few spots that are associated with Hitler and his time during World War I, went to where he saw combat for the first time, went to the area where he received his Iron Cross, but also had a chance to collaborate with some other history creators on YouTube. And then also went to Notre Dame de Lorette. And just recently, just this week, kicked in on this series on the Battle of Arras. So here you can see
attention retired
an ad. You'd think that me having a YouTube channel, I would get YouTube Premium and not have to have ads. But anyway, so this video right here, we started off going to the Wellington tunnels in Arras, where the New Zealand tunnelers did so much work to kind of dig under the ground and get guys up to the front line. And in this particular episode, had the chance to collaborate with Rob from the channel History in Your Hand. And I'm kind of having go back and forth between tabs here. So when I go to the tab and I'm looking at the YouTube channel and navigating through there, I can't see the chat, so I'm having to dodge back and forth. So I'll try and answer some questions along the way here. So first off, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, appreciate that. If you're ever around Mississippi, consider Vicksburg and USS Cairo. Yeah, definitely. Vicksburg is high on my list. And Stella, who's been such an encouraging supporter of the channel, Vimy Ridge brought me to tears. Yeah, the story that I told in the episode yesterday. Here, let me just go back here. So we started off. We started off the Wellington tunnels, and then I've wanted to go to Vimy Ridge for so long because the story of the Canadian military in World War I and World War II. For some reason, I don't know why, but I just feel drawn to it, and it really fascinates me. So I really wanted to go to Vimy Ridge. So that's where we started off. And then the video yesterday, you can see one of Sandra VK's maps that we have going on here. But I don't even recall where I came across this story of this father and son who both went into combat together. But the story just really captivated me. And on April 9th, the day that the Battle of Vimy Ridge kicked off in 1917, this father goes into battle in the 1st Canadian Infantry Division with his son, who was 16 years old at the time. And yeah, just a tragic story. I think, if I remember right, I think the son was 15 years old when he signed up. And I had some people asking questions, like why would a father allow his son to go into combat, or like why would they go in together? Here's my theory on that, because I thought about that myself. I was like, man, there's no way that I would go into combat with my 16-year-old son. Here's my theory, is that maybe the son was a little bit wild and was just hell-bent on signing up and going to fight. So perhaps this father was thinking, okay, he's going to run away and he's going to sign up anyway. Maybe if we go in together, maybe I can protect him. Now, I don't know if that's the story or if that's the reasoning. That's just a hypothesis that I have. The scene that we're looking at right now, when I'm looking at this etching and these pieces of graffiti and things like that were etched into the wall of this church in Equavre. And the one that you just saw there, hang on, let me go back to it. Actually, here we go. Let me just pause it right here. So I was editing this episode, honestly, earlier this week. Right now, I'm in one of those phases where I'm kind of editing a video and then doing a quick turnaround and then blasting it right out. Just being gone so much, I've fallen behind on editing. But in the video earlier in this spot, I said, oh, here's his regimental number. Here's the name, except for I couldn't see the W on there. That's WD Bogue. And I said, here you can look it up. And I thought, you know what? I'll just look that up myself. So I stopped editing and went ahead and looked it up, and then found out that unfortunately this guy who etched this into the chalk wall of the church on either March 7th of 1918 or July 3rd of 1918, depending on how the month and day, because some places they switch it around. But in any case, was able to find a picture of him and found that he'd been killed August 8th of 1918. So I'm glad that I took just the extra 10 or 15 minutes to look that up. And I kind of want to go and look up some of those other names as well and see what I can find. Let's see. Tampa Pete, thank you for the super sticker there. That is super helpful. Appreciate that. But anyway, yeah, especially with Vicksburg tour, Chris Mallory is your tour guide. It'd be such a fun trip. Chris doesn't know it yet, but when I do decide to do some Vicksburg stuff, got a gnat flying around here. When I do decide to get around to Vicksburg, I would really like for him to go with me, because he really knows that battlefield well. And I've never been there. I've never been to Vicksburg. Let's see. Did I go to Hill 70 near Lynn's too? I did not. I pretty much narrowed my focus on this trip to just the Battle of Arras, and I wanted to get up to Hill 70. I'm going to get back over there and do some more stuff at some time. I'm just captivated by the First World War, and I've even kicked around the idea of organizing a tour, and maybe have a group tour, go over there or something like that. But I don't know. Those are all. It's all in my big, mishmash of ideas that I have in my head. Okay, so anyway, those are some of the recent episodes that we've been rolling out on the History Underground. And again, appreciate the kind words. People from Canada, I've been getting all kinds of messages and comments and things like that from people in Canada who have just been deeply appreciative of the fact that an American is covering stuff about the Canadian role in World War One. The same thing when I did the stuff on Juno Beach at Normandy. Man, the Canadians were just so nice and so generous and appreciative. So anyway, got one more video that's going to be coming out probably tomorrow. I got a few elements that I'm waiting to come in to finish the episode, but got one more episode from Vimy Ridge, and then we're going to move south and kind of keep going with the Battle of Arras. Let's see, Dave Thomas, have you been to Cold Harbor Battlefield in Virginia? No, that's another one that is on my list. And yeah, if I do a World War I group tour, yeah, Paul Reed would be at the top of my list to check it out. Oh, look at here. We got old Sander on the channel here, or in the chat. If you have been enjoying the animated maps, let's just go take a look here. If you've been enjoying, another ad. I really do need to get YouTube Premium. This is ridiculous. But anyway, if you've been enjoying the maps that have been included in this series, there we go, right here. Sander is the guy who deserves your recognition. I think they have just added so much to the series and helped give you an idea of where you are and things like that. Speaking of Sander, let's just do this real quick. I mentioned earlier that let's see, hang on, let me get to the right spot here. I mentioned earlier that I went with a group to the area around Ypres. If you want to see some like behind the scenes stuff, here, look at this ugly guy right here on the right. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse when I'm moving it around or not. Okay, I don't think you can. Anyway, but there in the upper right-hand corner, you can see an ugly bearded guy. But anyway, there's a whole lot of behind the scenes stuff that Sander captured on that trip that is pretty entertaining. So anyway, so let's go back here to the main page. Let me check the chat again here. Oh, Matthew Hayden, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. All right. Let's see. I'm just looking at the chats here. But and also with Sander, he's like at 97,000 subscribers right now, I think. 97 or 98,000. And that is just annoying the heck out of me. So I would love to see people subscribe to his channel and kind of help put him over that 100,000 mark. Okay, so take a quick drink here. I mentioned, well, on the title for this video, excuse me, sorry. I was getting kind of thirsty there. That we're going to take a look at the top 10 most viewed videos on this channel. Maybe I tell a little bit of behind the scenes stuff that's going on. Oh, hang on a second. Got another comment that just caught my eye here from History Explorer, which by the way is another great channel that you should check out. I would jump on tour in a heartbeat. My unit has such a rich history in World War I, having been formed in 1793. Interesting. What unit is that? I feel like I should know that already. But yeah, need a refresher. But anyway, thought that I would take a look at some of the. I was looking at the little homepage thing the other day, and I thought, well, maybe we'll do something where we. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Maybe we'll do something where we take a look at the top 10 most viewed videos on here, because when I started looking at them, I was like, holy smokes. It's been a while since I've put some of these videos out and filmed them. So anyway, if we look here where it says popular videos, it has, here's the top 6, and then we go on to the top 12. So we'll give an honorable mention to a couple of them here. This one on the far right, the Gettysburg's blood-stained sniper's nest. This was at the Shriver House in Gettysburg. And I'll tell you, one of the things that was rewarding for me on this, which by the way, if you're ever in Gettysburg, this is an absolute incredible place to visit. I think it's just one of the gems in Gettysburg. Has so much that's going on there. But one of the most rewarding things for me was seeing how well this video did, mainly because of the attention that it funneled to the Shriver House. Nancy Gumstead, who runs the operation there and everything there at the house, said that it was just like a boost of adrenaline, which is one of the things that is a goal for me on this channel, is to try and funnel people to these historic places. Robin Burke, oh my gosh, wow, thank you for super sticker there. That is, yeah, all of these are helpful. I appreciate that. Just subscribe to Sander VK History. Awesome, appreciate that. I'm sure he does as well. Hey, Project Pass, speaking of YouTube channels to check out, maybe responsible for half your Gettysburg views. Appreciate that. if you're into Civil War content, Project Past has a lot of really good stuff. I was actually going to maybe get around to showing some of the channels that I'm watching a little bit later on, and his was definitely on it. But anyway, and then this one at the Glore Psychiatric Museum up in St. Joseph, Missouri, that was another pretty wild one. All right, so right here, this is the 10th most viewed video on the channel at 1.4 million views. Trip to the home of George Washington. And I don't know, looking at the 10 most viewed videos on the channel, it's interesting to me to see what people have gravitated to and what has caught traction on the channel. So this one, hang on, let me take a look here, was released April 11th of 2021. I can't remember exactly when I went and filmed this. It may have been like in March of 2021, something like that. But it's kind of funny to go back and look at some of these videos now because, well, let me see. There's an element that dates them. Yeah, right there it is. You can see it there. You watch this video and now it seems kind of dated because you see people wearing masks everywhere. Which at this point, there were a few videos where, like Benjamin Harrison's home is one that I can think of that was like right in the middle of 2020. And like in order for me to film there, they required me to wear a mask the entire time, couldn't even take it off while I was filming and stuff like that. And after that, I said, I'm not doing that anymore. So this one, yeah, you still have, it's interesting to look back and see what was going on at that time. Something else, one thing that I think I do a poor job at is connecting videos. So I think that if I remember right, there were 3 videos that were connected to the George Washington home, and this one right here on the enslaved of Washington at Mount Vernon kind of goes hand in glove with the other one, and still, I mean, 173,000 views. That's cool. I'm glad that people saw it, but it's interesting to me that people watch so much of one and then won't watch as much of another one that is directly connected. So I don't know. I'm continually trying to improve, and I need to do a better job at making connections. But with this video, there was one. Oh yeah, here it is. Like one of the coolest, most interesting things there. And I had somebody tell me this, or else I would have never figured it out for myself. But if you look right here, this is the slave quarters there at Mount Vernon. And right there in the middle of the screen, you can see those indentations in the brick. Those are the fingerprints of one of the slaves that made that brick. And it just personalized it so much more. But yeah. Let's see. So you love the color correction and lighting on your channel. Always looks high quality. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. I go back and look at some of the older videos when I was getting ready for this and just seeing what was on the top 10 most watched videos. I went back and I was honestly, we're going to get to a few that I'm honestly a little bit embarrassed about. And yeah, if I could go back and redo it, I absolutely would. Okay. So anyway, that was number 10. Let's go back now. Number 9, we get into one of the artifact videos. So this is a video that we did with something in the collection at the Gettysburg Museum of History, which is all of the artifact videos. Man, I feel like I got to sneeze. And this one is connected to Eric Doerr's ancestors. And for whatever reason, I'm glad that people like it. People seem to really like the videos that where we talk about Eric's ancestors and his family that grew up in Gettysburg. So the story behind this, you can see we're at Devil's Den. You can see Little Round Top on the left, Big Round Top on the right. And there was this interesting story where his great grandfather was looking for a cow out in the woods and found this bayonet, and then looked up, and there was a dead Confederate in the tree. So anyway, we went there and told that story. But yeah, all of the artifacts that he has that's connected to his family are just really, really fascinating. Let's see. Grant, thanks for the super chat there. What are you most proud of on your channel? Ooh, that's a good question. If you're talking about like this, about knocking my microphone over. If you're talking about a specific video that I'm proud of, there's one that I did outside of St. Vith where I reached out and I was in. I had a friend. He's passed on since, who was in the 7th Armored Division and was captured just outside of St. Vith during the Battle of the Bulge. And we went and found the area where his unit was captured, where he was captured. And in the episode, I call him on the phone. It was morning in the U.S., afternoon in St. Vith. And he actually kind of helped guide me around and get kind of to the spot, because I was describing things that I was seeing. But anyway, of course, you don't know the exact foxhole, but we got to the foxhole where his company was, and talking to him. And while I was standing there where he was captured was just such an amazing experience, because I was really close to him. As far as just like in general, I get a lot of feedback from teachers and history educators about how they use the channel in their classroom, and that means a lot to me. And I get feedback from students. So knowing that it's being used for the purpose that I originally designed it for, as an educational tool, yeah, I guess there's a little bit of pride in that. All right, a few more comments here. Love your videos, JD. Been in those places many times. Always chilling. Pops is a Gettysburg freak, and appreciate the World War II videos more. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, people are, have different interests and things that they are drawn to. Yeah, if you're into World War II stuff, right after this World War I series that we're doing at a Ross, yeah, we're going to be diving back into some World War II content. I got to get some Civil War stuff back in there. I haven't done any Civil War in a little while. But anyway, let's see. Let me hit this one and then we'll move on. Whoops. Really like the videos with Eric Dorr. So much historical knowledge. I could listen to that all day. Yeah, we'll talk about Eric a little bit more here in a little bit. Thank you. Question: did you notice that the translation of the interview of the German vet from the Herkenwald forest was partly not translated correct? No, I didn't. And that's only because my German is so terrible. But yeah, if there's a more accurate translation, then yeah, I would most certainly be interested in it. Okay, let's go back. So that was number, what did I say? Number 9. So 10, 9. This was one of the videos that every once in a while you'll have a surge on the channel. Like there'll be one video that kind of gains traction and it brings in a whole lot of people. And this was one of those videos. And I look back at this video now with a little bit of sadness, because as you can see, I'm panning around and we're down in the foxhole here, and there's no fence. Uh, you know, I'm likely going back to the Bastogne area in December, maybe, and I'll probably go to the Bois Jacques, even though it's cringy when I go back and look at this video. I was pronouncing it the Beau Jacques. So if you haven't noticed already, I kind of have a Midwestern spin that I put on most words, but got corrected by a lot of people. But anyway, it's kind of sad to me now because it's still cool to go. I've been back since they put the fence up around it, and it's interesting. By the way, I got my wife filming a little bit on this. Usually I'm by myself. She was with me on this one. But yeah, not only is it fenced off, but you have to pay to get in. And there was nothing wrong with this forest prior to it. And yeah, in my mind, it's not. You hate to say that it's completely ruined, but it's certainly partially ruined. And historians don't like it. The guides don't like it. Yeah. So anyway, little bit of sadness looking back on this one. But like I said, this was one of the few episodes. Whoops, got another ad here. Man, I should have got YouTube Premium before I started doing this. This was one of the few episodes where I had somebody with me, so got a few different shots there. And my goodness, right here. So this is the house there in Foy, where there was a German sniper, per se, that was firing on one of the platoons from Easy Company, and Shifty Powers takes him out. You can see some of the bullet damage up there where they had been shooting at him before. My goodness, you wouldn't believe how many people got on to me and sent me messages telling me I was an idiot because that I'd filmed the wrong spot, that the sniper was actually in the church bell tower, which is not true. He was right there where I show. But there was another YouTube video where it's like on a tour or something, and the guy probably just made a mistake. I've made mistakes before too. They're talking about the sniper, and I guess he misunderstood, and he focuses on the church. And man, oh man, I took some heat for that. But this is absolutely the spot where Shifty Powers took out the sniper. There's another video that I put out later, and we kind of revisited the story. I was there with Rez Jans and Eric Dorr. And from where I'm standing right here, Shifty Powers is up the street to the back of me. There's a video that's on YouTube of Shifty Powers, and he's on the other side of this building. And he's pointing, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the sniper was up there," and he points up the hill. And just being blunt here, he points in the wrong direction. Where he points doesn't make any sense. Like, that's the direction that they came from. And man, I had a bunch of people rip me apart, and they're like, "Oh, you think that you know more than the veteran does? I see," and just absolutely eviscerated me. And the truth of the matter is, in that video, Shifty Powers just kind of got turned around and was incorrect in pointing where he pointed. Keep in mind that these guys are going back to the battlefield. At the time of that video, would probably been 65 or 70 years after the fact, and they hadn't been back since. Okay, so yeah, hang on a second. So right up there where you see that car at the end of the street on the right-hand side, that's the approximate place where Shifty Powers fired from. And in that video that I was just talking about, where I think it was a Valor Studios video, maybe, or something. And I think they even did a painting on it based on that story that he told in that video. He points up in this direction and says that's where the sniper was, and it's not. Now, that's not to say that Shifty Powers was a liar, or Shifty Powers, just was, whatever. It's just he hadn't been back there in years and just kind of got turned around. I've been back on the battlefield with veterans a couple of times now, and sometimes they just get a little turned around. I mean, so much has changed since that time. But anyway, hang on a second. Got another super chat from Matthew. Appreciate that. How did you and Eric begin your partnership and work together? Hold on to that question. I'm actually going to circle back to that in a little while. That's a good question, though, and one that I get quite a bit. And yes, Shifty Powers was one of my favorites from Easy Company as well. Something else that's kind of neat, after this video, I got an email from Shifty Powers' son, and he had watched this and really sent me a very nice message, thanking me for, talking about his dad, and, for the work that I did on this video. So I've actually, in a lot of different cases, have got messages from family members after I've put up these videos. Another one was, I'm trying to think, what are some of the others? Desmond Doss was another one, where I went to his grave, and his son reached out to me afterwards and, thanked me and told me what a nice job that I'd done on the video. So that means a lot. All right, let's move on. So that was 10, 9, 8. Okay, let's look at 7. Now this one's going way back. As a matter of fact, let's just look here. This one went up September 17th of 2020. So when I did this video at the Andersonville POW camp, this whole place was shut down. So the visitor center and the museum was shut down. And I went down here with my son and just did kind of a little bit of a loop around Georgia. And anyway, wanted to go to Andersonville. Something that really, really frustrated me is that after I left this place, I called my grandma and, was telling her, what I'd been doing, and mentioned that I'd been to Andersonville. And she said, "Oh, well, your great great grandpa was at Andersonville." It's like, oh, son of a gun. Wish I'd have known that before. Oh, look at here. Here's the old intro. By the way, if you go back and watch my old videos, I apologize for that old intro. Well, that one may have been when I got tired of the longer one and trimmed it down a little bit. So one thing that I'll comment on with this particular video, earlier there was a comment from History Explorer talking about the colors and, all the stuff in the video, the color correction and, whatever. This is one that I look back on, and I'm just deeply disappointed with myself in how it looks. Now the video to date, let's just take a look, has 1.6 million views. So that's cool, and I'm thankful for it. There's one story that's attached to this. Now hang on a second. Let me just go back. By the way, this is also when I had a lens that was more close up. Now, so I put this video out, and it was, doing pretty good, and, people were watching it and getting some nice comments and things like that. And I start getting all of these comments from people saying, "Dude, you like captured, some sort of ghost on film, or did you see this, or did you see that? And they were flipping out because I had captured some sort of spirit or some sort of ghost on film. Okay, now right here, I have it paused. Watch on the left side of the screen, right there in between the frame and the door. Okay, so here we go. Okay, you watching? And then you see that shadowy figure there? And it's moving right there. So I went back and looked. I'm like, what in the world are people even talking about? Okay, and then I see this shadowy figure, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually captured something on film. The thing that I captured was my son getting into my shot. Is all that was. And anytime somebody, and it's only with Civil War videos, and more specifically Gettysburg. I don't typically get it with other Civil War videos, but I did with this one. But it's mostly Gettysburg. Everybody always thinks that I've captured a ghost or something like that, and there's always an explanation for it. So yeah, in this case, I didn't get a ghost. It's just my son wandering into my shot right there at the end. But I am impressed with people's attention to detail and that they picked that up. I don't know if that's anything that I ever would have picked up on. All right, so that's Andersonville. All right, if we go back, we get into the top 6 here, and I mentioned earlier that people seem to really connect with the stories that we have about Eric's ancestors, the Peffer family. So here's one that we did at the high water mark, or around the high water mark there at Gettysburg. Why am I getting 2 ads in a row here? What's going on? All right. And let me just back it up a little bit. So this is right at the Mississippi Monument. And just a quick story. The Peffers farmed ground right there on what during the battle was the Abraham Bryan farm. And you know, in the years after the battle, you know, they're plowing the ground and people were constantly finding stuff. Well, he ended up unearthing the remains, got like some buttons and stuff like that of some Mississippi soldiers. And one of them, the brother of one of the soldiers, ended up coming back and getting his remains. But anyway, later on in the episode, we go back to the museum and show the different items that Fred Peffer unearthed out of those graves. Now, it's not grave robbing. He didn't take the bodies or anything like that, but he did take like the little scraps of clothing and the buttons and stuff like that. Ended up being a good thing because that's what the brother of this Mississippi soldier ended up using in order to identify, you know, that this was his brother. And it's quite possible that those soldiers are still buried right there today. So it would be interesting to do like some what is it called, ground penetrating radar, you know, and stuff like that, and see what see if there's anything there still. But that would be a huge ordeal because now you're involving the Park Service and, you know, government institution and all kinds of stuff like that. So who knows what that would involve. But yeah, that's one of the more popular episodes of American Artifact that we've done. Okay, now let's go back another one here. So the question was asked earlier. I'm going to take another swig here. The question was asked earlier about how Eric and I met. This episode right here, which was part of the Gettysburg series, which was another one of those points in the channel. Whoops, that is not what I meant to do. It's another one of those points in the channel where there was kind of a jump in subscribers and viewers. You can see that to date, this one has, wow, just crossed over 2 million views. Holy cow. Okay, so this was in July of 2021 that I released this. I think I'd filmed it kind of at the beginning of the summer. But Eric and I met through some mutual friends, and they had invited me to dinner one evening. My wife was with me on this trip too. Anyway, we went to dinner, and Eric was there and was asking me about the channel. Of course, Eric has a background in TV. Appeared on Pawn Stars. He was a recurring seller on there, and was also on crud. The why is the name leaving me right now? He's on Pawn Stars, and somebody help me out. The show with Mike and Frank where they travel around. What? Holy cow! I cannot believe that has left my brain right now. That was on History Channel. American Pickers. My gosh, what's wrong with me? Anyway, he said, "Well, hey, why don't you come by the museum tomorrow and take a look around?" So I went. The museum. Hang on, let me get my story right. Okay, so I went in, checked out the museum. I had heard about this place, and people just had these glowing reviews of it and said, "Dude, you have got to get to the Gettysburg Museum of History at some point. There's all kinds of stuff." So I said, "Yeah, I've been wanting to check it out anyway." So I went and he showed me around, and I said, "Well, hey, could I come back here and film an episode here?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So this was a day that the museum was closed, so it worked out really well. And he set out some stuff which you can see here. So this is almost kind of like an early version of the American Artifact series. And there were a lot of people who kind of dinged me on this episode because they were frustrated that everything was just so quick. And they were like, "Man, you just kind of, you're not spending any time with stuff. So you're just like going from one thing to another." And which I completely understand. What people didn't realize is, like, this was not planned at all. Like this was all on the fly. Like he set some stuff out that night to show me the next day, and then there's another video where we're like going through the museum. I ended up, I think, making like 4 videos out of this whole thing. But yeah, what you're seeing here is really kind of the beginning of the beginning of the friendship between Eric and I. I was getting ready to steal a line from Casablanca. But anyway, yeah, here looking at like Hitler silver and everything like that. I was just completely enamored with all of this. So after this, I reached out to Eric, and these videos went live, and they did really, really good. And he contacted me, and he said, which at that point he didn't know much about YouTube, I don't think. He said, "Man, this is wild." He said, "I've been on American Pickers, and I've been on Pawn Stars." He said, "I've never seen anything like this." And was thankful and grateful that it was directing some attention to the museum. And I got to thinking about it, so I reached back out to him, and I said, "Hey, man, with all of that stuff that you have, dude, you should have a YouTube channel." And I said, I happen to know a guy who can do some video editing and things like that. I said, if you'd want to do some work together, let me know. And then he thought about it for a few days and then came back and he said, "Well, hey, you've already got a channel and it's already kind of established." He said, "Rather than me starting a new YouTube channel," he said, "what would you think about doing a new series on your channel?" And I thought about it, and I was like, "Yeah, that that might work." So then we talked about it some more, and then started the whole American Artifact series. And honestly, if anybody has any appreciation for the channel and some of the places that we've gone and the things that we've been able to see and do, you really need to thank Eric. Eric has, and it's all been pretty much behind the scenes, to be honest with you. And I might even talk about it in another video here in a minute. Eric has been so instrumental in the growth and the success of this channel, and has been able to take us places that by myself I wouldn't have had access to. So anyway, we still have some big plans ahead, but yeah. And yeah, as Estella says, then Eric led to addressing Gettysburg, Eric Lindblade, many more friendships. I actually met Eric Lindblade from the Battle of Gettysburg podcast. I had been listening to that podcast prior to this trip, and I'm trying to think, like I'd reached out and Eric was in the Peach Orchard episode and kind of showed me around, stuff like that. I think I met Eric Lindblade before I met Eric Dorr, I believe. But yeah, that led to, the friendship with the guys at Addressing Gettysburg, and so many more friendships in Gettysburg. With the guys at the Adams County Historical Society and Shriver House, all of that stuff. I've become kind of like an unofficial resident of Gettysburg now. So anytime I go back, I see so many people that I know, and yeah, it's great. Now let me tackle a question here. If you could revisit any place, and let's see, you could revisit any place and it would be new. Oh, okay. I think, yeah, okay. Might be referring to the Andersonville. Yeah, and I've kind of realized that, like, if I went back to Andersonville, I would probably film that and tackle it in a completely different way. So it would maybe even look like a completely new episode. And the channel has grown so much since then. There's probably people who don't even know that those early episodes exist. Let's see. Gettysburg Museum of History is beyond captivating. You can spend the entire day there. Still feel like you didn't see everything. Yeah, that's 100% true. So I've been there several times now. Every time I go there, I'm seeing new things. It's wild. Let's see. If you went to the museum to visit, is Eric there most days? On and off. So sometimes you'll catch him, here, there, yon. So adjacent to the museum, this would be a good opportunity to kind of explain how the museum operates. Adjacent to the museum operation, there's also a business that Eric has built dealing with historic artifacts. So this museum is free. Okay, so you can look at all the stuff, the American Artifact Series. You can see all these things. It's been described. I've heard people describe it before as like a mini Smithsonian. So right there, we're looking at a swatch of cloth from the couch where Hitler shot himself, and it has his blood on it. So it's just wild what is in there, and it's free to the public. The way that the museum remains free to the public is this adjacent business that Eric has selling artifacts. Okay, so you can go onto the website, and it's got all kinds of stuff on it. Civil War artifacts, World War II artifacts, and things like that. So those are things that Eric goes out and buys. He has pickers that go out and find stuff for him. Sometimes people will bring stuff into the museum, and there are two options. If it's something that they are donating to the museum, that stays in the museum, so it never gets sold. Okay, so it's part of the paperwork. When people are donating things to the museum, it stays there. Sometimes Eric will look at it, and maybe it's a helmet, and he's got 5 of them already in the museum. Okay, and there's only so much space that we have. Well, he might say, okay, yeah, I'm interested in this. I'm not interested in it for the museum. What I would probably do is take this and resell it. So he's very upfront with that. And if people are okay with that, they're like, okay, yeah, sure. And then they, sell it, and then it gets resold on the website, and then that money gets used to basically keep the museum open and fund the operations. So anyway, so when you buy something, or if you buy into the books or anything like that, it all goes to support the museum. But nothing that's ever donated gets sold. I know that that's been a point of confusion with some people. All right, let's go to number 4. Boy, I hung out on that one for a while. First, we're going to look at 3 seconds of this ad from Get the Guide. All right, here we go. Abandoned ruins of the Third Reich. This is where I went and, oh my gosh, another ad. This is killing me. This is where I was in Bavaria, and I'm trying to remember if Eric and I had already been there, and I went back to get some other material to go in the series. But I had woke up early in the morning, was in Munich, and drove up to these sites where there was like an abandoned chemical factory, and I'll show it here in a second, a place where they were assembling German aircraft. And oh my gosh, I was so excited when I got there, because there was like this fog that was hanging, and there were these giant spider webs that were just hanging there. And I thought, just from an aesthetic standpoint, I mean, you can see this, walking through these woods, and it kind of has this eerie, you know, haze and fog over it. Oh my gosh, I was so excited about this, because I knew that as I was filming it, I was like, man, this is going to look so neat. And then went up to this old chemical complex. Now, people have said something about the fact that I didn't jump the fence in this video and go explore those buildings. 2 reasons. One, I'm not really into jumping fences and going onto private property. Um, the other reason is that this is a police training ground for the Germans, and it's monitored and everything like that. So even if I was the type of person to, hop fences and sneak into places, that would be a stupid risk. But I had reached out prior to this video to see if I could get access onto it, and never got a response. But let's see. So this is the site of a aircraft production facility called Kuno 2. And man, when I found this place, I thought, man, I have found something that nobody else knows about. This, I'm going to drop this video, and it's going to be groundbreaking. And literally, like a couple of days before I dropped this video, there was a video on the channel World War II Wayfinder at the exact same spot. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot even believe this. And I watched it, and it was honestly a better treatment than this video of the site. And I was I wasn't angry about it, but I was embarrassed about the work that I had done, almost to the point where I I almost didn't run this video, or trimmed it out, because I thought, man, if people want to go watch the real thing, they can go watch World War II Wayfinder. He's got such a good channel. But anyway, let me see. Let me try and catch a few questions here. Have I been to the Kalamazoo Aviation Museum? No, I have not. Any recommendations for World War II battlefield tours? Yes, I do have a few recommendations. One, if you keep an eye out, Gettysburg Museum of History and We Happy Few 506 have a joint partnership where they do some tours. If you are looking for something that's a little bit on the shorter side, like maybe just a couple of days, The We Happy Few 506 has some good stuff. I've been on a few of their tours, and it's good. Yeah. Yeah, so be watching, because I think that Eric and Matt are going to have another tour that they are putting together. All right, let's see. What's this one? That might be my favorite video that you've made. One of the funniest / serious videos you have. Is that this one here that you're talking about? Outright History? This video? All right. Um oh yeah, here we go. So Andreas did the Market Garden 2-day tour last year. Can recommend it. Oh, I didn't know that you'd went on that one, Andreas. That's cool. I wish I could have. I wish I could. Okay, can you all still see me? Because I hit the wrong button and accidentally ducked out for a second. Oh no, live stream. Okay. Okay, so we good? Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. Got a little careless there and I hit the wrong button, and um yeah, I'm glad it didn't completely cut the screen cut the stream there. Let's get back to this. All right. Here's the button that I'm wanting to push. Okay, so let's get to the third most watched video on the channel. So if we look at this one, looks like it's almost at 2.5 million views. Went up January 10th in 2021. This video, I'm going to go ahead and say, was probably one of the biggest surprises that I've had on the channel. So this was, what was it, episode 109? Was I still doing the old style intro at that point? Okay, no, I had cut it down, fortunately. You go back to those first videos, I got this long intro that is just annoying as heck. But anyway, Hidden Secrets of a Civil War Mansion. This was at the Hunter Dawson Mansion down in New Madrid, Missouri. It's down in the Boot Heel. Not too far from Island Number 10, where Civil War battle took place there. I had been to this site. I don't know if I mentioned it in the video or not, but I had been to this site for a Civil War reenactment when I was maybe 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old. So it had a lot of good memories here, and at this point, I had run out of content on the channel and had no time to like do any trips or any series or anything like that. So this was a place that I had remembered. It was relative. It was a long trip to get there, but nothing that was too crazy as far as driving. So reached out to the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. At this point, the facility was closed. Okay, so again, COVID had everything shut down. And I said, hey, since everything's closed down, could I come and shoot a video there? So it's a cool place. It has a lot of interesting history. And I okay, so I'm going to say this, and I don't mean for it to sound like demeaning or anything like that, but I honestly filmed this video, and I try and do my best on all of them. And I thought, okay, this will be a video that I just kind of put out, and it'll fill a gap and kind of get me from one spot to another on the channel. Why do I envision 5-year-old JD with a full beard and ball cap? Well, I didn't quite have a beard yet. I did start shaving when I was in 6th grade, but I can guarantee you I had a ball cap. If you go and look at all of my pictures as a child, and I'm talking like as a toddler, like 2, 3 years old, I've always been underneath a cap. But anyway, went, filmed it. I think I edited the video on a Saturday and put it out on a Sunday. And it took off. And as you can see, is the 3rd most watched video on the channel, which just absolutely blew my mind. And I was so happy because it's a really neat place. And yeah, I'm happy that it has, done well and has directed traffic there. Oh my gosh. Sounds like you're describing the JD bobblehead. I don't think anybody needs a JD bobblehead. So it had a few people there on site who were kind of adding some expertise and, showing me around and things like that. Something that I've got a ton of comments on this channel about is at one point, let me see if I can find it. Okay, now we're battling in the Pacific here. Hang on. So this gentleman right here is talking about the house, and he talks about how there's no electrical lighting in the house, even to this day. Okay, so if you look at the lights up there, those are not electric lights, they're candle lights. And then at another point in the video, maybe I don't go back and watch my own videos, so it's almost like I'm kind of watching this for the first time, honestly. But there's another point in the video where you can see an electrical outlet on the wall, and people are like, "Oh, I thought you said there was no electricity in the house," and that's not what he says. He says there's no electric lighting in the house, but they do. Oh, maybe they also saw some vents, and they said, "Why are there vents if there's no electricity?" But it's actually electric lighting that he says. So anyway, if that's a video that you've never seen, you can go back and check it out. If I went back and redid this episode, I wish I would have had a light on this one because I didn't know that there was no electric lighting in there. And I mean, it's not bad, but there's some areas where, it could have used a little bit of lighting maybe. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back and look at the top 2. Number 2, this was a controversial one. And you can see that we got a little bit of a message right up front. Talking about I don't really get angry about much. I was pretty spun up about this video. So this is the 2nd version of the Dachau video that I had uploaded. The first one got age restricted by YouTube. And if a video gets age restricted, that is the death of that video, pretty much. So I put it up on YouTube. It had cleared all of their, filters and everything like that, and immediately took off and was like one of the most successful videos that I had ever put out. And about a week in, maybe, it got an age restriction put on it because there's a picture in here where I show one of the archival photos, which they show in every high school book that's ever been made, that shows some of the horrors of the concentration camp. In that one, now I already knew that I'd already had issues with YouTube before because I had shown archival photos that had dead bodies in them. They were from the Civil War. I even went and blurred the image of the bodies, and they still they still shut it down. And you can watch the growth curve on that video. It goes up, 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 and then YouTube applies their age restriction and it plateaus, and that thing has not grown since. As a matter of fact, we can go back and take a look. So here are the two videos. The old one is still up, by the way. Here's the first one. You can see it's got 259,000 views, which is great. I love that 259,000 people saw that and that it was, a successful video. But as soon as they put that age restriction on, that was like within the first week. Like I said, it was one of the fastest growing videos, and it just killed it, and it hasn't grown since. And then look just above it, the sanitized version has 4.8 million views. So right there, that is a very good illustration of what a YouTube age restriction will do to a video. It absolutely kills it, because those two are the exact same video, except for later in the sanitized one, I completely cut out that scene. I think I put up some sort of snarky message about YouTube, sanitizing it. What this has resulted in with a lot of YouTube creators is now they don't even want to touch the Holocaust at all. So inadvertently, and I think YouTube is a great platform for education and things like that. With the way that the policies are being implemented, which, by the way, what I'm doing is not against policy if you go and read it, because it's for educational purposes. But the way that it's being implemented and enforced, you're actually doing the job that a Holocaust denier would be thrilled with. Because, again, if you look at these two videos, a Holocaust denier is going to be thrilled with the fact that a Holocaust video is being shut down and is being suppressed. So it's a mess. Let's see. Thank you, JD, for the Vimy Ridge on behalf of my granddad Campbell, who went over the top on April 9th. Oh my gosh, 1917. April 9th, 1972. I was saved by Jesus when I cried out for his help in the face of death. Man, that is awesome. Yeah, thank you for that message, and thank you for that super chat. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you. So anyway, there was a part of me that really did not. By the way, hang on a second. Let me go back to that. I also have some other Dachau videos. They haven't done as well, but you can go and check those out. You can see that was kind of part of like a little 3-part series on Dachau. 269, 270, 271. Man, I was so hoping that this one, 271, that told the story of Martin Niemöller, I was so hoping that one was going to take off, not because for any self-serving reasons, but simply because of that story of Martin Niemöller. I wanted people to hear that story and to know it. It's got 92,000 views, so I'm not complaining. But man, I would love to have seen that one reach as broad of an audience as this one up here. Speaking of American Artifact videos, here we can just take a look at another one. You can see right here. Well, you guys can't see my mouse, but you can see that there's a notice that says age restricted video. This is one. This was an Artifact video that was showing a photo album. I better be careful, or this stream will get age restricted. Okay, so I better stop. Never mind. This is another one that got shut down immediately by an age restriction, and you can see it's got 22,000 views. So I wish there was someone I could talk to or something that I could do. Buchenwald, here's another concentration camp video that I did. All right. So that's a little bit of the story behind that one. That Dachau video, I won't lie. I was really, really nervous about putting that out. Um, Mainly because there was a part of me that was usually I'll film stuff and I don't care, as far as what people think or anything like that. I was really scared that people were really going to gig me for filming inside of the concentration camp. Um, Especially where you see all these pictures of people like posing in front of the gates of Auschwitz and things like that, which is super tacky. I didn't want people to think that that's what I was doing. Um, oh my gosh, look who just showed up. Got Chris from Vlogging Through History. Chris is kind of familiar with some of the YouTube craziness. He's had some issues recently with some restrictions by YouTube. Yeah, it's hard times. um, but anyway, oh, hang on, I got another super chat here from Matthew. Long planned to take my father where his dad and grandpa were, mainly Vimy and Juno, but his health. Thanks, appreciate the videos. Oh, cool, cool. Well, I'm glad that has been helpful in some way. Okay, let's take a look. I gotta keep an eye on the time here at what has become the most watched video on the channel. And that was my first visit to the Eagle's Nest in Berchtesgaden. So this is one of those things I was talking about Eric earlier. Let me just pause this real quick. I was talking about Eric earlier. All of the stuff associated with this visit and all of the other things in that series, you can thank Eric for. I mean, he had a lot of really good connections, and we got access to see some things that we would not have been able to have seen and shared otherwise. And even while we were up at the Eagle's Nest, and I'm going to be right honest, I don't remember everything that was in this episode. I'll have to take a look. We got to go into the engine room where they have an old U-boat engine. Okay, that's not something that's part of the main tour. Right, you can't just go in there. We also got to go into the back around the kitchen area, which you don't get to see, when you go up to the Eagle's Nest. So anyway, we got to see some pretty cool stuff. This was one of those times where everything just kind of came together perfect. The day that we were up there, you can see that there's like a little bit of fog going on, and it was spitting snow, and it just really lended itself to just basically some very dramatic shots. And by the way, I don't think, hang on a second. No, it's not this video where I go into the engine room. That was a different one. Okay, sorry. So you'll have to go back and look. Oh, look, another ad. All right. But as I was there and just looking at this view, I I was just flabbergasted and was so excited. And like these shots where it's spitting snow, and then like this drone shot right here, as I was shooting it, I was like, holy cow, I can't believe that I'm getting this shot right now. I mean, everything was just so perfect. So yeah, you can go up there on days when it's completely clear and you can see for 100 miles or whatever. But um, I would have not traded this day for anything. And yeah, now it has become the most watched video on the channel. Hang on a second, let me see. Yeah, at 5.3 million views. Um, But yeah, just incredible. Let me catch up on a few comments here. Let's see. I was in Munich and Salzburg 3 weeks ago, had planned on going to the Eagle's Nest, and it was already closed for the season due to storms. Yeah, that's the danger that you run into at the Eagle's Nest this time of year. So if you're on the shoulder of the season, so that would be like October or March-ish, around in there. Yeah, you run into that risk of it being shut down. This was in mid-October, I think, is when early to mid-October is when I shot this. And I think that the next day it snowed up there and got shut down. So yeah, I can see how that would be disappointing to go all well. I know how disappointing it is. My very first trip, when I went to Berchtesgaden, I went in late March, and it was shut down. So you couldn't go up. But anyway, oh, Zeal's Legacy, thank you for the super chat there. Appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we'll kind of start wrapping things up here. Just let me just shout out a few channels. We just mentioned Vlogging Through History here a moment ago. This is definitely one channel that I think I'm recommending this channel all the time. So if you're a regular viewer, you already know, and you can see which video was it? I'm looking, or maybe it was a live video. Oh yeah, no, here is this one right here. If you want to know what's going on with some of the censorship that's going on YouTube, go watch this video. And yeah, Chris will kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of what he experienced. Chris kind of dodged the bullet for a long time, and it was poor JD that was taking it on the chin, but unfortunately it caught up with him eventually. And right now there's also a big issue with history channels being suppressed on YouTube. Let me just kind of run down and show a few others. World War II TV is another one that I'm constantly recommending. This video I watched today. This was a live stream that he did with a guy that I did a live stream with not too long ago, talking about Winston Churchill. Takes a deep dive looking at some misconceptions on Churchill. We're running a lot of World War I content right now. So adjacent to that, here is another channel that I would recommend, History in Your Hand. Rob does a whole lot of incredible work visiting World War I battlefields. Here you can see, let's go to his recent stuff here. Here you can see like this one on Rudyard Kipling, author of The Jungle Book, and his role with the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. It's a really good video. He's got some stuff on Luz. Here's where the trenches where Hitler fought. So you can kind of see he was there the same day that I was, except for I made these poor guys wait forever while I was mucking around the trenches and filming stuff. But you can see just a lot of World War I content. Oh, look, here's Chris over here in one of these videos. But that's definitely one to check out. Here's another one. So this is one that I recommended on social media the other day. This is History War Cinema, run by a guy from the Netherlands named Marcel. It's got some really good stuff. So recently he's been reposting some old Great War documentaries on the BBC from 1964, which is pretty interesting. I haven't had a chance to watch all of them. I've watched a few, but one that I would really recommend is this one right here. The Battle of Montcel-Fritoy, I think is how you mispronounce that. The last lance-on-lance battle of World War One. Very, very interesting, where you have these horse-mounted soldiers like literally charging each other with lances in the First World War. Very, very interesting. And then let me look up one more that, while we're dealing with World War One content, and you've heard me mention some other channels throughout this stream that I would recommend, but yeah, Paul Reed, who I called the godfather of World War One history. If you are enjoying the series right now on Vimy Ridge and Arras, well, Paul Reed is where I got a lot of my stuff from, listening to his podcast, and then in addition to that, the books that I was reading. But he had a video that he posted just a couple days ago on the village of Fleury in Verdun, which was really good. So if you watched my Verdun series, well, this is one of the places that I visited, and Paul kind of adds a lot more to that. So yeah, I would recommend any, like, honestly, if you're going to watch one of my videos or watch any of these that I've recommended, if you have the time, I would watch the others first, because frankly, I just think they're better. And yeah, but if you have a lot of time, watch my videos too. But I would watch the other ones as well. In addition to, or before you watch mine. Yeah, they're just that good. Okay, so let me kind of wrap things up here. Make sure that I didn't. Let me go back and see if there were any questions that I missed before I duck out of here. I'm getting ready to go to my grandma's for dinner. Does the altitude at the nest cause any breathing problems? No, I don't think so. Although in one of the Eagle's Nest videos that I did, not that particular one, but I was there with Matt Leach from We Happy Few 506 and Marcel from the one I just showed you, the History War Cinema 101. And we decided, instead of taking the elevator up, that we were going to walk the trail up in the same path that the American soldiers did when they took the Eagle's Nest. And I was kind of sucking wind on that one. So that's where I noticed it. But if you just go up there, no, it's not a big deal. Let's see. The new documentation center and tunnels in Obersalzberg reopened this summer after some years. Yeah, that same video that I was just talking about. We actually go to those tunnels. Let me take a quick look here. Hang on, I'm bringing my channel back up. Yeah, hang on. Let me share my screen again. So if you want to see what he's talking about, beneath the Obersalzberg, there was just this vast network of tunnels. And in this video here at the top, says, let's see, it's episode 321, into the tunnels beneath Hitler's Mountain. I go into the documentation center, and yeah, here we go, and show those tunnels. Very, very cool stuff. I would like to get access to some of the other tunnels, because there's like this, I don't know, it's like a ant colony down below. Okay. A little Bane reference there. Okay, let's see. Hope you're well. Love learning from your channel here in Australia. I was just in Australia, but I wasn't there very long. I only got to spend like a little bit of time there on my way to the Solomon Islands, but got to film a little bit. I filmed one episode in Brisbane while I was there. Can't wait to share that. Here we go. World War I is seriously underrepresented in the U.S. I've learned so much about the war since moving to Canada. Yeah, cool. Hey, not to, well, here, I was going to say not to plug my own channel, but I'll plug mine and everyone else's. Hey, if you get a chance with the series that I'm currently running, or some of the channels that I just shared with their World War I content, something that really helps the channels and helps other people to learn is share those out on social media and try and drive traffic to it, and then all of us can be learning together. All right, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, JD mentioned a vid that was, quote, better than his. That's it's pretty low bar. It doesn't take much to get a video better than mine, to be quite honest. I'm Truth be told, I'm deeply dissatisfied with most of the content that I put out. But if people like it, that's cool. But yeah, I'm a bigger fan of other people's work than my own. Let's see. Will you be at Nuts Weekend in Bastogne this year? Stand by. Maybe. Maybe, possibly. Leaning towards a yes on that. Kind of hammering out some details there. What's Grandma making for supper? I don't know yet. We're going to find out. Let's see. Have you considered going to the USS Olympia in Philadelphia, famous for Manila Bay? I'm going to be right honest. I didn't know that the USS Olympia was in Philadelphia. So yeah, I'll have to check that out. Okay. Let's see. When is the Guadalcanal video going to hit? It depends. Maybe December, unless I go to the Battle of the Bulge stuff, in which case I might run the Battle of the Bulge stuff first, just to coincide with the anniversary a little bit more. So you'll be getting either Battle of the Bulge and then Guadalcanal, or then Guadalcanal and Battle of the Bulge, or something. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Andreas, OTD Military History has a lot of stuff about Canada's history. As a matter of fact, I would rank that as probably the best source. If you're looking for Canadian war history stuff, that's the go-to source. And he has been very helpful to me when I tackle stuff about Canada. He's kind of my go-to guy. Let's see. How do you, I'm guessing it means have so much time off to do these videos? So one of the big misconceptions of the channel is that I like travel and film 365 days a year. In reality, what I do is I'll be gone for maybe, so let's say it's like a Civil War battlefield here in the United States. I might be gone for 3 days. And during those 3 days, I just film from practically daylight to dark. If some of those guys who have been with me on some of these trips, like Chris or Marcel or somebody, they can attest to that it's probably a little bit excessive, to be honest. But in 3 days, I might get enough material to last me 4 to 6 weeks. If I go on a week-long trip, again, I might get enough for 3 months worth. So it looks like I'm traveling all the time. What it is, I'm filming a whole lot of stuff in a short amount of time, and then that is, taking me, I'm getting a lot of mileage out of the trips that I do. So, okay, well, I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap that up. yeah, get out and we'll see what's for dinner tonight. But hey, as always, appreciate you all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me a little bit this afternoon, and I don't know, letting me just talk history and everything like that. Appreciate everybody who watches the channel and has subscribed and just continues to be so kind and is sharing it out. Somebody asking, are you not still living in Berchtesgaden? I've actually never lived in Berchtesgaden. It just kind of seems like I was, because again, I just filmed a whole bunch of content while I was there. But anyway, hey, good chatting with you all, and we will talk to you later. Thanks.